I think the reality is that Bitcoin, for the most part, at this point, is there's a structural failing in Bitcoin that I think people will need to come and wrap their heads around. The structural failing is that it is not. So if you think about like what is the value maximizing function right now for a crypto asset to be broadly adopted, it needs to have the features that allow a central bank to adopt it. And there are two things that it lacks. One is fungibility and two is privacy.
In terms of the crude markets are very well supplied. There are hundreds of millions of barrels on the water away from the Gulf. But more importantly, we have a series of announcements that we're going to be making. We began yesterday with the announcement that DFC will provide the insurance for both the crude carriers and the cargo ships operating in and around the Gulf over the weekend. Lloyd's of London nullified the insurance, so U.S. government is going to step in, and when it is appropriate and should it be needed, the U.S. Navy will provide safe passage through the straits for the oil tankers.
Oh, you remember before AI came alive? You remember?
Yes.
Remember when you used to have jobs? Remember when everybody used to work?
Which does that freak you? Like, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Right now, it doesn't.
It freaks me out.
Bother me, huh?
It freaks me out. It freaks me out because I don't think we know what's coming.
We don't know what's coming, and there's nothing you could do about it.
My friend Eric Weinstein was doing this interview recently where he was like, "Whatever you do, just assume it's over."
Ukraine has 7 times the intensity of Israel's previous operations against Iran during the 12-day war. 7 times. And as President Trump said, more and larger waves are coming. We are just getting started. We are accelerating, not decelerating. Iran's capabilities are evaporating by the hour, while American strength grows fiercer, smarter, and utterly dominant. More bombers and more fighters are arriving just today. And now, with complete control of the skies, we will be using 500-pound, 1,000-pound, and 2,000-pound GPS and laser-guided precision gravity bombs, of which we have a nearly unlimited stockpile. Yesterday, in the Indian Ocean, and we'll play it on the screen there, an American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win. The mission is laser focused. Obliterate Iran's missiles and drones and facilities that produce them, annihilate its navy and critical security infrastructure, and sever their pathway to nuclear weapons. Iran will never possess a nuclear bomb, not on our watch, not ever.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think. And make sure you go join the patrons. If you're not a part of the patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Chamath on the talking points. Now we're hearing the same people saying the same thing. Bitcoin has a privacy problem, and the central banks don't want to hold it. But remember, guys, the whole point of the Bitcoin narrative that it was supposed to get rid of the banks. It was supposed to get rid of the central banks, cutting out the middleman, peer-to-peer. That was the whole point. But don't forget, Bitcoin is basically electricity. And what do we clearly see that's about to happen? That black swan? That's right, that energy crisis. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. We have Scott Besant reading off a script and got stuck. The Strait of Hormuz is going to be the big issue. The Lord of London has cut that insurance. And we know insurance companies, if they could raise that premium, raise those prices so they could get more money, they definitely would. But the risk is so big, they just cut it all together, even though the United States is promising to escort. But we know what's about to happen. Remember, guys, this is a plan. It moves in phases. Everything is going to be too dangerous. That's the only way they can bring in unmanned ships, unmanned helicopters, drones. Everything's too dangerous. We don't want any deaths. And that's how you bring in the robots, algorithms, and drones to take over this economy, but also take over the drums of beating. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have Joe Rogan on the machines taking over the economy. Oh, you just can't do anything? Yes, you can. You can get back to the creator, so therefore you can start creating. Remember who created the machines in the first place. That's right, humanity. Humanity created its own replacement. And again, that's the reason why it's so important to get back to the creator, so therefore you can start creating. Don't let anyone let you think or make you believe that these machines are smarter than you. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have the Secretary of Drums of Beating, and he gives us a video of a torpedo hitting a ship. At least that's what he's saying. But again, guys, because of all this technology, you can't trust the eyes and ears. You have to get your popcorn, sit back, and let it play out. And we have Canada's Mark Carney say he's not getting involved and the drums are beating. And we know eventually down the line, they will get involved. Remember, this is a plan. It moves in phases. Armageddon brings in the new age. And that's the digital age, where the machines take over the economy. And we have the Fed Myron still saying he wants rate cuts. And we know we have high inflation. Jobs market just keeps getting weaker and weaker. The mainstream media tries to put a twist on it, but we can clearly see these big corporations are laying off. The only ones left are the small businesses and medium-sized businesses, and we know the small and medium-sized banks are about to fall to the wayside, and that means these small and medium-sized businesses are going to fall right along with it. And again, this is a plan. It moves in phases. And we see in the jobs market, people are staying put longer than ever before. And don't forget, when the C word came, people were jumping from job to find higher pay. Now they're sitting still because they're scared if they do leave that job, they're going to get lower pay. And that is definitely a fact. And who's responsible for that? That's right, the Fed. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Informed in advance, we were not asked to participate. Prima facie, it appears that these actions are inconsistent with international law.
Yeah, so if you saw evidence in inflation markets that markets were concerned about long-run inflation expectations, that's the type of thing that would give me pause. But I don't see evidence of that so far. Short-run inflation expectations have come up quite a bit when you look at CPI swaps, but that's just because of the mechanical read-through of oil prices into headline inflation. When you look at longer tenors, there hasn't been much of a move, and so as a result, I don't get the impression the market is concerned about long-run inflation expectations.
You've used this phrase modestly restrictive a few times in this conversation already. What is modestly restrictive to you? Can you put numbers on that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think we're probably about a point above neutral now, and so my view is that we ought to start by getting back towards neutral.
So the 100 basis points in reductions you want this year is not to become accommodative. You believe it's to get back to a neutral setting.
Yeah, pretty much.
What would it take for you to start thinking about the need to get accommodative?
So I would want to start thinking about inflation coming in below the target, which is a risk that I've highlighted. If I end up being, I've emphasized
housing. What's the source of that risk, Governor? What would be the source of that risk to get below target inflation?
Sure, I've emphasized housing markets a lot. That I'm expecting a faster convergence down of renewal rents to new rents, which will lead housing inflation to converge quickly to new rent levels.
Why do you think the medium companies actually showed job decreases? Medium-sized companies?
It's a great question. I think what is apparent to us is why small businesses are seeing the gains. Because what you're seeing is that small businesses have been really selective in this environment and outmanned often by larger firms. So for the largest firms, let's go there first and I'll get to the median. The largest firms, we actually saw a rebound this month compared to last month. Large firms lost 19,000 jobs last month. This month, they gained in February, they gained 10,000 jobs. Small firms are really the beneficiaries when large and medium firms pull back, but they do so at lower pay levels. That pay growth is only 2.6% year on year for small firms versus larger firms. So I think what you're seeing is small firms who are able to compete, but doing so with lower wages, and workers are just not moving. We're looking at pay premiums that are so low that the returns to job switching is the lowest on record of what we've tracked. And so there's not a lot of turnover in this market. It's very inert, and that's benefiting small firms.
We're going to have tremendous workforce availability. We're also going to have robots helping us. We're going to have a lot of robots helping us because we need it. And because we're going to town, we're building a lot between the AI and the auto plants. So we're going to need robots. We're going to have robots, but that's going to help us.
Robots hold steady hands in the operating room, and drones are redefining the future of war. Innovations of first-generation humanoids, factory automation, and autonomous vehicles have surged from private sector investment. Every one of these advancements is powered by AI. The robots are here. Our future is no longer science fiction.
Maybe crypto is actually built for the machines and we didn't even know it. And AI can easily handle private keys and easily understands transaction hashes and like how all this stuff works. It is money that is built for computers, even before the computers to intelligently handle it were built. So I find that interesting. And, perhaps those of us who were involved in crypto pre-AI were kind of just like getting the ground ready for the AI systems to have a fully developed financial system handed to them, for better or worse.
This could be perhaps the greatest revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet itself. Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology.
And as President Trump has directed, we are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stable coins to do that.
I think stable coins could reinforce dollar supremacy, because with stable coins could end up being one of the largest buyers of U.S. treasuries or T-bills. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, if you are using a stable coin in Nigeria that's backed by the US dollar, you don't actually have to have dollars. It's on your phone. You can transact.
We are going big on digital assets. So Trump administration has made digital assets a priority. I've seen estimates that just over the short term, stable coins could create $2 trillion of demand for U.S. treasuries and treasury bills. To put that in context, the number is probably about $300 billion right now.
We will take a close look at regulatory impediments to blockchain, stablecoins, and new payment systems.
The Department of Commerce is going to start issuing its statistics on the blockchain because you are the crypto president, and we are going to put out GDP on the blockchain so people can use the blockchain for data distribution, and then we're going to make that available to the entire government so all of you can do it. We're just ironing out all the details so we can do it. Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you're going to reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services. It'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of
artificial intelligence, and crypto. But with today's announcement, we take a major step to bring healthcare into the digital age. Instead of filling out the same tedious paperwork at every medical appointment, patients will simply be able to grant their doctors access to their records at the push of a button. Just a button and you're all set, and all the information the doctor needs will be immediately transmitted.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it will be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity, and if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
If we could tokenize all our ETFs, all $5.3 trillion of our ETFs, and provide that in a digital wallet, you could seamlessly, without fees, going from a digital currency or a stable coin or whatever that may be in your digital wallet and buy bond or stocks. And I believe that is going to be the future.
I believe we're going to be in the cutting edge of tokenizing bonds and stocks.
It's coming.
And we have the technology now. The fact that we are now moving forward in tokenization, every bond and stock, is crazy. Yeah. We should be moving towards that frontier. Obviously, there's winners and losers and all that, but we need to be prepared for the tokenization. And it would democratize more finance if we tokenized bonds and stocks.
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1.
King Joshua and Grandma Tam. Save the Village, Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York. Long COVID Stories 3, Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.